I almost ran over our dean of discipline. Senior year of high school, I went to Cuff Cath. The only reason that's relevant to the story is because school is right off Dixie Highway. So they have an entrance to the parking lot at the top of the hill and an entrance at the bottom of the hill. I believe every high school has that faculty member that just gets obsessed with trying to enforce the most random, illogical rules just to enforce a rule. They just have a need to insert their power over the students. It has nothing to do with logic or better function or better education. It's just about having power over the students. And our dean of discipline was that guy. He had just become this miserable old prick that was constantly trying to get kids in trouble. I think his favorite thing was just handing out detention slips just for the sake of getting kids in trouble. So we're like halfway through senior year, and he comes over the loudspeaker and says that starting tomorrow, he's enforcing a rule that for the traffic pattern at school, everyone has to pull into the lower entrance down the hill. Whether you're a parent dropping off a kid or a student driving, you have to pull in and go through the traffic loop, which made no sense for half the damn kids driving to school because our parking spots were closer to the entrance at the top of the hill. We really just are backing up traffic on the little highway the school's off of. And we have to wait in line 15 minutes with the parents dropping off students just so we could go park our cars. Like, that makes no fucking sense. The announcement at the end of the day, you're kind of half listening. At this time, I'm failing calculus horribly. My mind is just like, man, my freaking senior year of high school, I can't fail a class. Like, I got to figure out how to pass it. And my calculus teacher had told me, if you come in really early, you can start working with me and we'll try to get you to pass the class. And I think most people can relate to that. A lot of the times, even if you don't deserve to pass a class, if you work really hard with the teacher, you put in the extra hours, show a little bit of effort, basically kiss some ass academically, then usually the teacher will let you slide by with a barely passing grade. So that was my thought process. I got to get to that point with my calculus teacher. So he's like, I get here at 7 a.m. every day. School doesn't start till 8. You've got an hour. You can come in and work with me in the morning. I'm like, all right, I'll get there. And I live like 30 minutes from school. So senior year was a struggle for me just to get to school by 8. So I'm like, fuck, I got to leave the house by 6:30. And so I'm driving to school the next morning, barely awake. This was before I drank caffeine. So I would just blare rap music to keep myself awake on the way to school. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to fucking pass this calculus class, baby. Let's go. Thomas turned into the parking lot at the top entrance, which is where we weren't supposed to. The sun hasn't even come up yet, man. There's only 3 cars in the parking lot. When you come in that entrance, it's like a little driveway, and then it's a sharp turn. And the parking lot opens up, and all the spots in front of the gymnasium where me and my buddies park are right there. So as I turn that corner, holy shit! This man just walks out in front of me, like, whip out of the way. This literally had to whip out of the way. I lost control of my car. I put it in park because I just had a small heart attack. So I'm like, fuck, I think I just hit that man. I'm like freaking out. I'm looking around. The parking lot's pitch black. I'm looking around like, holy shit, I think I just hit someone. I'm like, what the? So then I put the car in park because I see this guy walking towards me. I roll my window down. It's our dean of discipline who's like 70-something years old at this point in a black jacket with his hood up. He's like, you shouldn't be coming in the south entrance. I go, dude, I almost just hit you and you're trying to scream at me about which entrance I'm coming in. He's like, I'm going to have to give you a detention. I'm like, I'm not taking that fucking detention. And he looks at me because I just dropped the F-bomb on him. I'm like, dude, I'm here early to go meet with a teacher. The drop-off line hasn't even started yet. I'm not taking a fucking detention from you. If you want to come find me at 8 o'clock, fine. But I am not taking that fucking detention slip right now. And he's like, whoa. Well, what's your name? I'm like, I'm not giving you my fucking name. If you want to look up my parking spot number and come track me down at 8 o'clock, fine. But I'm not giving you my name. And he's like, oh, well, I guess I'll just let you off with a warning. And I'm like, okay, sounds good. Now I'm going to go try to pass a calculus class I'm failing. And I pulled forward and pulled into my parking spot and got out. And I see him writing my license plate over now. I'm like, fuck you. I don't even care. Like, it's my senior year. You want to give me a fucking detention fine? I was more so just like, dude, you are that dedicated to enforcing something that has zero common sense behind it. Really means nothing. Like, who cares which entrance the people come in and out of the school? At the end of the day, if the kids get dropped off at time and there's no car accidents, why does it matter? Why do you feel the need to be in control of that? I got some other good stories about him, but that one That one was a doozy. I was like, I cannot believe you're willing to be out here in the freezing cold, willing to almost get hit by a car just to keep people from pulling in the South Urchin. It's like, you're one crazy son of a bitch. I got to respect that element of it. But now that I'm 25, you look back on those type of situations and actually felt bad for the guy. I think I'm pretty sure his wife had a lot of health issues at home. He was too old to be the dean of discipline for sure. So they were definitely trying to like push him out of the position. And when you look at it from that perspective, it's like, oh man, that guy was going through some shit. I can see why he was kind of shitty with the kids. But as a high schooler, you're like, dude, what the fuck is your problem? Like, leave these kids alone. I was more like, damn, I'm just glad I avoided a lawsuit because I damn near ran this old man over in the parking lot. and and that's another note, just to all the high school and college kids out there who follow this. Don't let those miserable, angry faculty members that take their own internal issues out on you impact your day. You forget that teachers and people of authority, especially when you're a kid, they're people too. And one thing that I think is the worst trait of human beings in this world, and I'm speaking from experience because I was definitely one of these people for a long time, is like taking out your internal frustrations and issues on other people is so wrong. And especially at that level, when you're in a position of education or authority, you're in charge of running a school at any level, for you to bring your personal issues and those internal issues that you're dealing with in your life or within yourself, to project that negativity, frustration, and anger onto kids is really, really wrong. And I can't tell you how many times we had this computer teacher who was like that, just a miserable prick. And again, you don't know what issues he's dealing with at home, and I recognize that, but watching him verbally attack and belittle students, give them a detention or make them feel like shit, whatever he does, and then it causes that kid to be a miserable prick to everybody else the rest of the day because he's projecting his anger from that class onto the rest of the school, and it's like then he gets labeled as a bully or a problem child and all this stuff, and it's like, I'm sorry, you have teachers doing that to the students in this school, like that's really freaking wrong. Like that teacher should be the one that's getting reprimanded, not the student, because he's only 14, 15 years old. Like he doesn't even recognize how deep subconscious behavior is because it's being projected onto him by his teacher. I think that's something that's important to build an awareness of. As soon as you are consciously aware of like your own feelings, emotions, and behaviors of yourself and other people, you should be very aware of the fact that just because somebody's in a position of authority over you in the education system or even in the work world, and what everyone tends to forget is even though someone's an adult, they might still have childish issues and behaviors that they project onto other people. I think that's a really important lesson. Don't let your teachers' issues and negativity get projected onto you. Let that stuff roll off your shoulders. And not even just in the education world, but just in life in general. If anyone ever comes at you sideways or negative without you inciting it, or you just feel like, man, this person's coming at me for no reason and I did nothing to them, you got to let it roll off your shoulders. People who don't know how to deal with issues within their own life or within themselves, they just want to project all that frustration and negativity onto somebody else. And they'll do it to anyone they feel like doing it to, especially people who they think look happy and seem like they have something figured out, even if you don't, and you're just as much of a mess, but you don't project that onto somebody. If they feel like you're in a better place than them, then they just attack you. So let it roll off your shoulders. Turn the other cheek, as Jesus would say. Not that I'm a preacher or anything, but I do think that's one of the greatest lessons I've ever heard. It's just like, just turn the other cheek and let it go. Because I grew up a petty boy, 100%. I'd be like, oh, yeah, you want to fucking talk shit? Well, I'm egging your house later, you fucking prick. Fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would harbor all that anger and negativity and then project it on and either give it back to him tenfold or project it onto other people. And it's like, no, that's just not how you're supposed to do it. Just try to be understanding of the fact that everybody's dealing with shit in their life. They might not cope with it in the most positive way, but it's not you. It's not what you're doing. Just be happy, enjoy your life, enjoy the fact that you woke up this morning and realize that you have a purpose. You can either choose to go be the best version of yourself and chase that purpose and passion, or you can be one of those people who just gets really frustrated with themselves because they're not trying to be the best version of themselves and project all that negativity onto people. But if you're not one of those projectors of negativity, then don't let those people bother you. Just tune it out, let it roll off your shoulders, and keep grinding and being positive on your life path. All that came from my miserable dean of discipline, who was clearly dealing with a lot of shit in his life, but he was trying to fuck up my senior year all the time. I just didn't recognize it at the time. So that's today's episode. I hope everybody's well. I really do appreciate all the support on here. We're just gonna keep grinding and taking it one day at a time and see where we can get Talks with Tom to go. But for right now, I'm pretty damn happy with where I'm at. Appreciate all the support I get from everybody, because at the end of the day, like I said, I'm just a kid from Crittenden, Kentucky, telling stories about my family, friends, and life experience, and hoping that it can have a positive impact on somebody in some way, whether it's a life lesson, a laugh, or just a perspective of, I never want to be like Tom Ziegler. What a fucking scumbag. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with whatever perspective you need to get some type of positive benefit out of this. So we're just going to keep it going. We're going to keep grinding, and I hope everybody's well. We'll be back soon. Talks with Tom.
Taking shots by the lake till I can't even breathe no more, see no more. I was riding around town thinking to myself, is it gonna get easier? I'll be up and away up the street and bake, but I can't even breathe no more. What's it to me? What can I see? Taking shots by the